Welcome to Green Night TV. I'm Brandon Holdsworth. This is our Making Sustainable, Attainable series of videos, where we're going to showcase organizations who have been successful at implementing environmental sustainability actions within their company. Our first episode today is with Stephanie Jackman from REAP, a not-for-profit organization based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Stephanie, thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about REAP and why it's been so successful?
Be happy to. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you.
REAP stands for Respect for the Earth and All People, and it's a nonprofit association for locally owned businesses that care about the environment and the community. We launched officially in January of 2008 with 3 founding members, and we've since grown to over 100 local businesses in the southern Alberta area. And it's really been very successful because businesses that are undertaking progressive environmental practices or that really care about building local community and shared prosperity in Calgary and in southern Alberta are looking for opportunities to network with other businesses and to share information and best practices so that we can all be better together.
Okay, great. You operate out of a province that is very well known for its industry and maybe not quite as much for its environmental practice. Can you speak a little bit towards that?
Mm-hmm. REAP's been very compelling as a networking organization and also as a way for citizens to find green businesses because of the environment in which we live. And it's always very interesting to me when people come to Calgary and they say, oh my goodness, there's so much going on here that I didn't know about. Right. And there are so many progressive businesses and sustainability initiatives within industry that aren't widely touted outside of the province or even within our mainstream communications. And so having the opportunity to work with those businesses and with people that are really mission driven is very exciting. And it's exciting to be able to share their inspiring stories and to inspire other businesses to take greater action as well.
Well, see, that's one of the interesting components with REAP that I didn't understand at the beginning. I thought it was more of a almost like a local or a provincial community association of businesses, right? But environmental sustainability is a central tenet to REAP. Why was environmental sustainability a major component to REAP as opposed to just growing local and being local?
We have 3 criteria for membership in REAP, and the first is local ownership. So you're partly right in that we really are focused on locally owned businesses. And the reason for that is because locally owned businesses are more likely to recirculate more of their money in the local economy on environmental initiatives and to also support local community groups. And so those local businesses, the ownership of a business is actually quite important to the value that it creates in the areas in which it operates. Aligned with that is environmental sustainability and social sustainability as well. And so when we look at the businesses that we're working with, we want to make sure that they're locally owned first, but then also environmentally and socially responsible. And the reason for that is because as citizens, when we're out there shopping every day and we're making purchase decisions that are either going to make the world a better place or not, these are the things we want people to be thinking about. So when we bring together these businesses that are truly committed to the local economy, to the people in our communities, and to the environment, then we're able to say to the average citizen, these are the businesses that, all other things being equal, you should be supporting because they're creating greater benefit, they're creating more jobs, and they're reducing environmental impact over the non-local competitors.
So local value, being a local organization, taking care of the environment, and being social responsible, those are the 3 main components of REAP?
That's correct.
Okay. Yes, what are the benefits of environmental sustainability for REAP members?
Businesses that are demonstrating a commitment to the environment enjoy a number of different benefits, and there's lots of an increasing body of research out there that supports this. So the first is customers are increasingly demanding that companies do not compromise the environment in order to sell them the products and services that they have available. And so having an outside third-party organization as an endorsement, like REAP, helps to tell customers potential customers that this is a business that is actually not compromising the environment in its business operations. The other benefit is employees, attraction and retention. So if you're out there looking for a job, and many of the universities and the secondary schools and have research to support this as well, if you're out there looking for a job, we're now finding that youth are prioritizing environmentally sustainable companies and nonprofits over the alternatives, and in some cases are willing to make lifestyle choices, move to different places, in some cases accept less money in order to work with an organization that is aligned with their values. So from a business standpoint, there's great money to be saved by undertaking environmental initiatives. There are customers to be won and employees to be won and kept. So really it's a no-brainer.
So there's more to it, or there's more into it than just sort of than a feel-good now.
Yeah.
It's a business proposition associated for those companies.
That's right. It's environmental sustainability is a strong source of competitive advantage for progressive businesses, and particularly for those businesses that can get there first and can communicate it well.
So essentially, sustainability does pay those organizations.
Absolutely. We're all in business to make money,
Absolutely.
right? So it's lovely to do this for altruistic reasons, but that's not what's driving most of these decisions.
Right. There's a financial benefit towards being green now.
Definitely.
Right. It's not just a matter of trying to, do your part as some sort of altruistic or a brand or marketing, because you and I both know the term greenwashing is, basically doing enough green things to make it look like you are, even though environmental sustainability isn't a focus or isn't a priority. What you're saying is when you make it a priority, it will help your business.
Absolutely.
Really? And now, in doing so, have you heard any of examples from some of the organizations that are part of REAP that have made true success stories? Like, have you heard any?
Anecdotally, I hear them all the time. Organizations like DIRT, for example, which is one of our members, has a long list of people wanting to work there and are winning awards, which is driving new business and getting contracts all over the place now with Google and other very large brand recognizable organizations.
Is there any others that you've talked to, on a regular basis, given that you have how many members?
Just over 100.
So you have over 100 members, and environmental sustainability is a central tenet in each one of them.
Yes.
So it's been a priority for that many organizations in Calgary.
And for a long time. I mean, a lot of the businesses that we have at REAP are organizations for whom environmental sustainability has been a priority for a decade or longer. They started their businesses because they had the owners or the leaders of the business had a deeply held commitment to environmental sustainability. And so they were doing it long before it was in vogue or there was a recognized kind of business payback, if you will. Yeah. But I'll give you a story. A couple of years ago, I was on CBC Radio and I was talking about some of our members, and I was talking about Swizzle Stick Salon Spa, which is one of our founding members, and the variety of different environmental initiatives that they have going on. And then it happened that it was Earth Day the following week, and I was actually in Swizzle Stick Salon Spa with our green coupon book that we used to do every year. And I was handing them out to some of their customers. And as I was standing in the salon handing out these books, a woman came up to me and started talking to me, and she took the coupon book and I introduced myself, and she said, "Oh, I heard you on the radio the other day." And I used to be a Swizzle Sticks customer many years ago, and then my stylist left, and so I changed salons. Right. She said, and it wasn't until I heard you on CBC Radio talking about all of their environmental initiatives the other day that I decided to come back. And so this is my first appointment after 3 years away, and I'm so excited to get the coupon book, and I'm so excited to learn about REAP and what it is that Swizzle Sticks is doing. So there's lots of those kinds of anecdotal stories that I hear all the time about how customers are coming back or customers are prioritizing environmental and local businesses over the alternatives. But that was a very personal story for me because I actually got to have
it's
that
actually part of their decision making now.
Yeah.
Is because it's a focus in their lives.
Definitely.
Your Swizzle Sticks example, I really like the idea that not only was it something that now was being highlighted that Swizzle Sticks was doing as a corporate example, and drawing new customers or even drawing old customers that had left back. That probably wouldn't have happened if not been for REAP and the publicity that REAP got from that. That's really what REAP is all about, is it not?
Certainly. It's easier for an objective third party like Green Knight, like REAP, to help these businesses tell their stories in a way that doesn't come across as salesy. So as a business association, we're screening our members before we know that they can become members to ensure that they are truly committed to environmental and social best practices, and in our case, screening for local ownership as well. And so when we go out and tell their stories, we can tell them in a way that is received with greater objectivity than were the business to tell that story themselves.
Right, because that's just part of their promotional activities,
That's
whereas
right.
this is part of the community.
That's right.
I guess one other question that I would have for you, last question, is why did REAP choose to join Green Knight?
Part of what we do in bringing business leaders together and helping them to share information and best practices is to spread the sustainability ethic. And so we are always looking for ways to connect businesses and provide them with useful sources of information and concrete ways to take action that will benefit their business and make it easier. I had actually a couple of two separate members on two separate occasions use exactly the same language with me recently, which is being green is hard. REAP makes it easier. Well, part of the way that REAP can make it easier is through partnerships with fantastic organizations like Green Knight, who can come in and do an assessment and then help a business to identify concrete ways to take action and even ways to finance those actions so that they can reduce their environmental impact and generate greater sources of competitive advantage.
And be able to make that difference, right?
That's right.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time, Stephanie. If you would like to know more about REAP, check them out on the web at www.reapcalgary.com. And stay tuned for more episodes in our Making Sustainable Attainable series of videos. And check us out on the web at www.green-knight.ca, and that's Knight with a K. Until next time, thank you very much.